Daf Nun Aleph Amid Beis. I will start Nun Aleph Amid Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. Nicely, continuing on with the halachas of the kaishel bracha of Birchas Hamazon. So the person receives the kais with 2 hands, and then he gives it over to his right hand, and with his right hand he holds the kais when he benches. Rishonim asked the question, small, he has to hold it in his right hand. Can the left hand support the right hand? Since the Rishonim asked the question, and they did not resolve it, therefore we have to be machmir, and therefore we say that the left cannot support the right hand. There's a diyan in the paiskim. Does that mean it cannot support the hand, or only it cannot support the kais? So that's a discussion amongst the paiskim. And he elevates it from the table a tefach higher from the table. Where do we see a support for this? Paul success. Kais Yeshua's eso. I raise kais Yeshua's eso. I raise up my kais and then I give a bracha to Hashem. The bracha is with the kais that's elevated. And he looks at it, he keeps his eyes focused on it, so that he should not have hesach hadas, he should not be distracted, so he looks at it and focuses on the kais. And he sends from the wine of the kais to a matona for the household, so that his wife should have a bracha, she should be blessed from this kaishel bracha. There should be a bracha in the house for his wife in the house. Ula went to Rav Nachman, Korach Rifta, and they ate the meal together. Borech Berchas Mezayna. So Ula benched. He was the one that was mechuber benching. Rav Nachman, and he sent from the kais of bracha, from the kais of benching to Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman Yalta. He asked Ula that some should be sent to his wife Yalta. So Ula answered, it's not necessary because she gets the bracha memela from the bracha of the husband. The husband has the bracha, and her bracha draws from his bracha. It derives from his bracha. Shenemar uberach pri vitnecha. Your beta, your womb. Pre-bit no loy nemar, not hers, ela pre-bit necha. So her bracha derives from your bracha. Tanya nami hachir of nasanayim minayin shein pre-bitna shalisha misbarach elmi pre-bitna shalish. How do we know that it derives from the husband? Shenemar barak pre-bit necha. Pre-bit no loy nemar, ela pre-bit necha. So Yalsa heard that she was not being sent to kaishel bracha. Kama bezira, she got up in anger. She went to the storage house where the wine was kept. And she broke 400 barrels of wine. So Rav Nachman sent her another kais, try to appease her. Shalchla, and he sent this message with the kais, Kol kiha nivna de berchos nivga de berchosai. All the wine from this barrel is a kaishel bracha. It also has the effect of a kaishel bracha. Shalchalei, she sent back the following message: Mamadura mile, from travelers, from peddlers come empty words. Masmute kalme, and from rags come lice. Don't appease me with your empty words. Omer Ravasi ein masichin al kaishel bracha. When there's a kaishel bracha, when you pick up the kaishel bracha from benching, you don't speak. You don't speak until the end of benching. So Rashi says that there shouldn't be a hesach hadas. You should be focused on it, and you should be focused on benching. And Taisa says, and that applies not only to the mevarach, it applies to also the people who are mesubim, the other people who are partaking in the meal, and they're partaking in the mezumen. They also should not speak once this is commenced, once they take the kaishel bracha. You don't make the benching on the kais on a kaishel piranus, on a kais, a cup of destruction. My kaishel piranus, what is it referring to? Amrav Nachman by Yitzchak kais sheni. The second cup, if he had one cup in the meal, and now the kais bracha is a second cup, so that's a concept of zugais, pairs. And the shadim, were harmed people where they had zugas, they had pairs. So in those times, especially, it was prevalent. Today it's not so, but it was more prevalent in those days. Then that was more of a chashash that they have to be careful with zuga. It's not to have things in pairs, so the second cup would be considered kashel piranhas. Double, he should not make the bracha. Mishum shenemar hika l'kras l'kecha Yisrael. You have to prepare yourself for Hashem when you come to Hashem. So this is mentioned. We learned earlier, like Abay davening for your davening Shemon Esrei. Prepare yourself. You dress properly, etc. So here also v'hai lemisaken, to come and give a bracha to Hashem and thanksgiving for Hashem. Ha'koishel bracha piranhas. That's not a dignified, proper preparation to come and give a bracha to Hashem. The person is eating, walking while he's eating. He has to, for benching, he has to have more concentration, so he has to stop and stand while he benches. He can't walk, even though he's eating and while he's walking, and the meal is while he's walking, but he can't bench while he's walking. He has to stand. If he's eating standing, then he also, for benching, has to take it to the next level. Then, he benches sitting down. But however, if he reclines and eats, so he eats the meal in the normal, proper way, in those days reclining, today sitting, then Yoshev Mevorach, he has to bench sitting down. But however, halach we paskin bakula that you have to bench sitting. You don't stand by benching. You don't walk by benching. Certainly, you don't even stand by benching. So Taisus explains, why do we say this by benching more than other brachas? Other brachas, we don't require you to sit down necessarily. You stand, you can make a bracha standing. Here we require to sit. Taisus says because Birchos Hamazon is the raisa, therefore it requires more concentration. Sitting, you have more concentration, you have more kavana. Therefore, it's a requirement for by benching more than other brachas. And Taisus brings down a remez. It says in the pasuk v'achalta v'savata uveirachta. You bench v'savata. So he brings down the remez shev et. Sit, visavata, the acronym visavata shev eight, savata shev eight, uveirachta, and then you bench while you're sitting. New parak. We're going to discuss now the proper conduct during the Suda. How do you conduct yourself during the Suda? Tzilas Yadayim, Kiddush, etc. So the Mishnah is going to list the differences between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel in the conduct of the Suda. The Mishnah will list all of the items, and the explanation will go through one by one in the Gemara. But the list in the Mishnah is as follows. These are the differences between them in the Suda. So when it's Shabbos, it's Yontiv. Beis Shammai says, as opposed to the way we hold like Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai says, Mevorach halayim, you make the bracha Mekadosh Shabbos and then Bori Perigavan, or Mekadosh Yisrael v'Azmanim and then Bori Perigavan. Beis Hillel loimrim. Beis Hillel says, however, Mevorach halayim v'achar kach Mevorach halayim. The way you're noig, you make a Bori Perigavan and then the bracha of Mekadosh Shabbos. So that's one difference between them. Another difference is Beis Shammai says first you wash your hands, and then you pour the kais of kiddush, and you have kiddush, and then you eat the meal. No, first you make kiddush, and then you wash your hands. When you wash your hands, you dry your hands in the towel, you leave it on the table. Beis Hillel says, no, you don't put it on the table. You put it on the couch. So again, the Gemara will discuss what the difference is, why each says what they say. Beis Shammai, when it's time for benching, you sweep the floor. And then you wash your hands. So then you wash your hands after that, after you're mechaben, you wash your hands for mayim achreinim. So after the meal, you sweep the floor, then you wash your hands for mayim achreinim. Beis Hillel no, neitlun yadayim. First you do mayim achreinim, v'achar kach mechaben es yadayim. I mean, when it comes to Havdalah, what's the order of the Seder of Havdalah? They say Ner, you make a Bar Mehesh, Mazain. So if it's after the end of the Suda, if you're making Havdalah, so it's Ner, it's Bar Mehesh, Mazain, and benching, Besamim, Vavdalah. Ubeitzil Ner, first a Ner, Besamim, and then Besamim, and then Mazain, Vavdalah. When you make the bracha on the fire on Motzei Shabbos, what's the nusach of the bracha? Beishamrim Shabara Mor Ha'esh. You make it in the singular. Shabara and in the past and Mor Ha'esh. Shabara Mor Ha'esh. Beislamrim Boire Ma'oiresh. Boire Ma'oiresh. So again, we'll see in the Gemara why they say what they say. You don't make a bracha on the ner bar mereish and not bar some of a avodah zarah, because this might be done for the avodah zarah. And not if it's done for the purpose of the kavod of mace. And not if it was made for an avodah zarah. And you don't make a bracha on the ner until you're able to get benefit from that fire, from that light. A person that he ate and he forgot to bench, and he forgot and he didn't bench. Beis Shammai says, now if he left the place where he was eating, he left and he went on his way, and then he reminded himself that he forgot to bench. So Beis Shammai says you have to go back. You have to go back to the place where you were eating and bench at that place. Beis Hillel says you have to go back on the place where you remember. That's where you bench. You bench on the place where you remind yourself. We'll see what the pshat over here, what the machlokes is, and what Beis Hillel says if you don't have to go back at all. Is that absolutely not a requirement? We'll see in the Gemara. There's a machlokes rishonim if this going back to the place, does this apply dafke by benching? Does it apply by Messinas as well, or does it apply to any time when you have a bracha chasmein shalish? So again, there's some we'll see in the Gemara. Van masay mevarach, person who benched, person who ate his meal, he forgot to bench, and then he reminded himself. At what point of time can he still bench? How long of a time lapse could there be for him to still bench? So what is the period of time? Till the time you digest the food. We'll see in the Gemara how long that period of time is, but once he's already digested or considered to have digested the food to a certain extent, then we say he has lost the opportunity to bench. Prior to that, he could. If after the meal they brought wine, then if that's the only cup that they have, Beis Shammai omrim mevorach al hayayin v'achar kach mevorach al hamoza. So Beis Shammai says if there's no other kos for the kosel bracha, after the meal, when the meal is finished, they brought a cup of wine at the end, and there's no other wine to use for the kosel bracha. Beis Shammai says that you make the bracha on the yayin, and then mevorach al hamoza. Beis Hillel omrim mevorach al hamozayin. You first make the benching, you make the bracha l'mazayin, v'achach mevorach l'yayin, which is what we do. We make the bracha berachas l'mazayin al l'kais, and you make the bracha after the mazayin. V'oinin omen achar Yisrael mevorach. If you hear a bracha from a Yisrael, then you answer omen. But if a kusi makes a bracha, you can't answer amen until you hear the entire bracha to make sure that he's saying the bracha properly, l'shem shemaim, not l'shem avodah zarah, and only then can you say amen after the kusi's bracha. So now we'll go into Gemara step by step, all of these differences between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, and explain the differences. Gemara Ton Rabbanon Dvarim Shebein Beis Shammai Beis Hillel Beis Seuda Beis Shammai and Mevorach Al Hayom. You make the bracha on the Yom Mekadosh Shabbos V'Achar Kach Mevorach Al Hayayin, and afterwards, only afterwards, you make the Bori Priya Gofen. Why is that? Why do they say that? Because Beis Shammai says Shayim Garim L'Yayin She'ovai. Firstly, they say, because why are you drinking wine at this point? At this juncture, why are you drinking the wine? It's because of the Yom. It's because of Shabbos. It's because of Yontiv. That's the only reason that you're making this, you're drinking this wine right now, and you're making this bracha right now. So the primary reason, the priority should be given to the Yom. So you make Mekadosh Shabbos and then Boi Priya Gofen. Second reason is Ukfar Kiddush Yom. Before you're making Kiddush, it's already Shabbos. It's Kiddush Yom. Vadayin Yain Loiva. So the first thing, before you're starting to drink this wine, it was already Shabbos. So you have to now mention the Shabbos that has already arrived. The priority is to say a bracha for the Shabbos, which has already arrived even before this wine was brought out and you were ready to drink this wine. That's Beis Shammai's reasoning. Beis Hillel, they say Mevorach Al Hayayin. First you make a Bori Priya Gofen, V'Achar Kach Mevorach Al Hayayin, and only after Mekadosh Shabbos. Why? Shayayin Garam L'Kedusha Sheteomer. Because without yayin, without wine, you can't say Kiddush. Rashi points out that it's not only wine, yayin or bread, but without this davar choshev, without the yayin or without the pas, you can't say Kiddush. The only reason you're able to say Kiddush is because you have the yayin or the pas. So therefore, that's the bracha that goes first. And davar acher, another reason is berachas hayayin tadir. The berachas hayayin comes more frequently. Shabbos comes once a week. Yontiv even less often. Yayin comes any day or every day. So it's Todir, it's more common. And the principle is Todir, Usheinu Todir, Todir Kodim. Todir, Usheinu Todir, Todir is Kodim. The one that is more common is Kodim. Like we find that by Musav, the Korban Musav, we're makravit after the Korban Tomid. And the pasuk says, "Asher lo'olas hatomid." Why does the tomid come first? Because it's tomid, it's todir. It comes every day, twice a day. The Musaf doesn't. Principle is todir shenu todir todir kayim. And the Gemara says, "V'halacha gedivrei Beis Hillel." And the halacha is like Beis Hillel: first Bori Priya Gofen, then Kiddush Shem. My dovar acher. Why does it say this second reason? Beis Hillel gives two reasons. Why do we need this? Also, this reason todir shenu todir. Because Beis Shammai gave two reasons, and Beis Hillel only one, and therefore you might think, well, therefore their svara outweighs Beis Hillel. So here also no, Beis Hillel also has two reasons. Berachas hayayin tadir, berachas hayayin meinu tadir, todir shenu todir, todir kaidem. That todir shenu todir is kaidem.